would like to show you a very short film. So let's start with that.
Disasters befall on humanity. Pandemics, natural disasters and terror attacks all lead to an increase in morbidity and mortality. Humanity's role is to mitigate as much as possible the effects of disasters to maintain our resilience and stability. This is the very essence of the Master's degree in Disaster and Emergency Management at Tel Aviv University.
I invite you to register to the Master of Disaster Management degree, a program that is designed to build and develop a generation of leadership in this vital field.
The program is designed for students who come from diverse professional backgrounds and include guest lectures, tours, field exercises, conferences, and training that integrate academic theory and practice.
Upon graduating from the program, I decided to pursue an academic career with a PhD. Choosing this path allowed me to be integrated into high-ranking positions in the research world. The academic career allows those who choose it to explore theories and bring them closer to practice.
My classmates, the professors and administrators, the management and public policy courses, and participation in emergency drills are the program's special sauce for a transformative educational and hands-on experience.
Through obtaining master's degree in disaster management, I know I can apply the knowledge and the skills in African countries which are eager to local forces to bring change.
This program has helped me tremendously, from the classroom to the field and all over the world, with meeting executives and medical professionals, especially this past year as the world was dealing with a global pandemic. It made me even happier I chose this program. And another huge advantage is learning from the teachers who have the most experience in this field from an international disaster management level.
I recommend anyone looking to excel their career in the nonprofit or public sector to join this program.
Great. Let's start with the introduction of our team. We'll do it one by one. We have with us Dr. Moran Bodas. Will you raise your hand? Great. He's the academic advisor of our program. I'm going by the order on the screen. We have with us Mrs. Gabi Bar, who is the student director of the Student Affairs in the International Program. We have with us Mr. Gili Shenar, that you can see by his uniform that right now is both in two hats. One of our academic coordinator of our program, and he's also in the reserves due to the conflict that is right now ongoing here in Israel. I'm Professor Boreadini. I'm the head of the Emergency and Disaster Management Department. And we have with us one of our graduate of the program, Ms. Clara Del Pret, that will also speak to you and address all of you who are here with us. So what we're going to do now, we want to show you a short example of some of the elements that we speak about and that we actually discuss and analyze during the academic program. We will afterwards hear, Moran will tell us and present the program. We'll hear from Clara about her experiences and her insights, and then we will allow you to ask any questions that interest you. So just to give you a brief glimpse, I want to present to you something that is very relevant to what is happening right now. I want to discuss the resilience in the shadows of war. So the question is, why is it important? Why is it relevant, the element of resilience with what we're doing in the academic program? As you can see, we've learned from the research that resilience actually predicts the level of academic achievement in students. It proves to be an element that can be enhanced by studying, by coming and having experience in an academic settings. And resilience also has proved to be a protective factor that actually assists students, not only students, but also students with coping with distress. So the question is, what's resilience? Resilience is actually our capacity to function during any type of adversity and also recover successfully after the adversities, even becoming more empowered, bouncing forward on the level of the individual, of the community, or the society. So I want to share with you some of the findings of our studies, which we have done during this period in which is characterized by the present war between Israel and the Hamas. So you can see that before the war, in August 23, the level of individual resilience and societal resilience was lower than we actually found it during or in the first week of the war. So we actually see that despite the fact that war can prove to be something which is of great distress, and there is feelings of dangers. You can see here how the population in Israel, and this is a study on the whole representative sample of the Israeli population, despite the fact that these negative coping mechanisms of depressive and anxiety symptoms, sense of danger rose from August to October. When the war started in October the 7th, we saw a heightened level of societal distress and sense of danger. We see throughout the war that it decreases, and with that, the level of resilience also rose, both on the level of the individual and of the society at whole. So we ask ourselves, how does that happen? It happens because of the element of hope. So this is how we see a connectivity between research and what we know in the scientific arena, and also how we can impact on the field. Another element is what happens with students. So with students, for example, we saw in another adversity during the COVID, which was a global adversity, that students actually have, in comparison to the overall society, a lower level of resilience and higher levels of anxiety and depression. So we ask ourselves, what can we learn from the academic element on what is relevant to all of you as students? So for example, this year, one of the concerns was, should we open the school year? What is going to happen to the students? Will they have the energy, the capacity to study? What we saw, we actually did a mini survey among our international students, and we saw that both the students as well as the faculty wanted to start the academic year. In the first semester, we started as a hybrid program, both in class and through the Zoom. 65% came physically to the campus. By the end of the first semester, 100% of the students have shown their physical presence in class because they found it very productive and very supportive. When we look at another element of the distress, again, we saw that the academic arena actually produced a very close networking, both between the students themselves, as well as between the students and the faculty, and it proved to be something that was very supportive and very positive for contributing to the students' level of resilience. So when we look and try to study what does the academia provide that actually helps and enhances the students' resilience, first of all, it helps to maintain a routine, which is crucial for enhanced level of resilience. It helps to keep busy. It takes us away from overexposure to the stories, to the news, to just looking at what is happening, which sometimes can be very distressing, and allows us to actually be productive in other things. And it also provides the platform to both give and receive support from faculty and staff. So if you want to gain knowledge in the different elements of disaster preparedness and response, if you want to become part of this group of leaders of the resilience of the global community from here on, our program is the right place for you. I will stop share. And I will now like to invite Moran to tell us about our program.
Okay, thank you very much, Buria, for this great introduction to some of the research we've been doing in our program. It's really just a glimpse into much of the research that is being done and that you can be part of. So let me walk you through a little bit about the program itself, and perhaps if you have some questions, you can either type them into the chat and we can answer those later, or we can also have a Q&A session at the end. So why would you like to study emergency and disaster management at TAU? There are some unique characteristics of our program. One of them is that it's a one-year master's program. That is, if you opt for the regular track, and I'll explain the difference between that one and the thesis track in a few slides. But if you are interested in doing your master's within a single year, we offer that. We teach the program through 3 consecutive semesters, the fall semester, the spring semester, and the summer semester, and within 1 single year, you can be done with the master's. Nevertheless, it's a world-renowned program with leading faculty and leading researchers from Israel and around the world, so that it allows you the opportunity to tap into much of the experience gained by these professionals when they come to the class and teach the content that is part of the emergency and disaster management realm. Our motto, our slogan is pulling theory into practice. We strongly believe that disaster management is not something you can be taught simply by, sitting in the under the neon lights and in an air-conditioned room. So we take to the field. We participate in field exercises. We take you to see headquarters. We meet you up with stakeholders and practitioners that are telling you their experience from the field and sharing with you their wisdom. There is also a mandatory light search and rescue training where students are taught how they can use a car jack or a metal rod to pick up a ton of concrete and extricate a person who's trapped underneath, for example, when a building collapses after a major earthquake. So there's a lot of hands-on experience in this program. Of course, as an academia, as a university, the bon ton or the lion's share of what we teach is the theory, but we are very much invested in pulling that theory into practice. And there's modular electives. You can choose from the different courses offered by the program so that each and every one of you can graduate from the program with a different portfolio of the topics you'd like to cover. We strongly believe that we are developing and nurturing the next generation of leaders in the emergency and disaster management world. We're not just believing in this, we're seeing this. Our graduates, our alumni are integrated into UN agencies, into federal agencies in the United States, in North America, in Europe, and elsewhere, the countries where they come from, and they are participating in policy making and actually fostering change in their own communities and in their own countries. So knowing that, we strongly believe that by teaching you disaster and emergency management the way we do so, we are actually making you ready to become the next leaders in the disaster management world. A world that faced COVID-19 and is now knowing multiple conflicts, whether it's Ukraine, conflicts in Africa, of course, the recent conflict here in the Middle East, and climate change, which proves to probably get us a lot of work in the next few years and decades to come. There's plenty of need for people who are disaster managers, people who can create policy, shape policy, and understand what they're doing in terms of shaping that policy to save lives and improve the well-being of populations around the world. So it's up to you. If you want to follow the unknown and become part of the Tel Aviv University cohort of graduates that are pursuing the unknown and leaving their mark on research and study, we offer you this program and its ample opportunities for networking. One of the main or a key feature of the program is, for example, the internship program. The internship program allows students while studying to get integrated into one of the NGOs or the the NGOs and the other organizations we work with, and do an internship of 8 hours per week during the first and second semester, which is a great opportunity for those of you who are at the beginning of their career to get the foot in the door, to get the point of contacts, and to get the references you'll need down the road by actually doing work with those agencies, with those NGOs. And you can also get 4 credits in terms of your academic pursuit of our program. So the program structure comprises of 2 tracks: the regular track, which is the default track that all students are enrolled into, and the research track. Both of them are 40 credits worth. You see the breakdown of the different credits for the 2 tracks. The difference is that in the research track, students do a thesis, a complete thesis, which extends into a second year. So that's an important difference. The research track is 2 years long, whereas the regular track is a single 1 year long program. And in favor of this thesis, which is worth 7 credits, students in the research track take less of our program mandatory electives. As I said, the program is not just about frontal lessons. It's also about sites visit, drills and exercises, and the search and rescue workshop. Here's a glimpse into some of the courses we offer in the program. Of course, you are more than welcome to visit our website and take a closer look at the whole syllabus, the whole leaflet of the different courses we teach, and a short description of all of those. But we are a multidisciplinary program. We teach disaster management from a 10,000 feet in the air point of view. So we are teaching the next generations of leaders to understand something about everything in the disaster management world, so that when they are in a position of managing a team, a disaster management team, they know exactly what is the role and responsibility of everyone who's working with them and for them in terms of knowing what their job is, whether they do the psychology of things, the risk communications of things, whether they are responsible for the economics and the financials or doing the humanitarian aid. We are teaching a multidisciplinary perspective of disaster management, as well as we try to comprise a classroom of students who are also multidisciplinary in their backgrounds, so that the discourse developed in the class is also enriched by the different viewpoints of the different students. In terms of the final assignments for the regular track, there is a final project paper that needs to be submitted. It's either a literature review or a research proposal or a small-scale research, close in structure to a thesis, but of course not in the magnitude or even close to the extent of a thesis. But that's if you stay in the regular track, the one that takes 1 year long, you will be finishing your studies in our program by submitting this final paper. And as I said, if you move to the research track, you will be submitting your thesis work. Transition to the thesis track, to the research track, is done by the beginning of the second semester. It is contingent upon several criteria, which are listed here. You see a minimum average grade of at least 80 or above in the first semester's courses, as well as specifically in the methodological courses, which is research methods and epidemiology, statistics, and scientific writing course. So students who meet these criteria and also found a suitable supervisor are eligible to ask for transitioning into the thesis track. And by the second semester, a decision is made whether a student can transition to the thesis track. And if so, they drop some of the courses and they extend their studies for a second year for the actual thesis. What we offer in our program in the emergency management department is a toolbox that allows the skills and competencies that will serve you down the road as you develop your careers in emergency and disaster management or the humanitarian aid sector. We teach you not just how to do things, but how to think about things, how to think critically and creatively, how to develop problem-solving solutions that allow long-term planning and integrative understanding and solutions for whenever you're faced with challenges and difficulties, which in this field are promising to be there, right? So a career in disaster management is definitely laced with challenges, and we hope, and we do, equip you with the skills and competencies you'll need to do so. Our alumni are integrated into mostly four sectors. The first sector is the what we call the public sectors. Those alumni are integrated into national or local government agencies, such as ministries or federal agencies. We have alumni and graduates in FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Authority in the United States, as well as other ministries in other countries, for example, Canada and other countries in Europe. Those alumni are mostly integrated into preparedness, into policy making and shaping, and into public policy work. The next sector is the humanitarian aid sector. Many of our alumni are integrated there, either in NGO doing actual field work, going on the field in disaster-stricken areas and providing humanitarian aid and assistance, or in the headquarters of the UN agencies and the other organizations that are dealing with humanitarian aid. And some students juggle between those headquarters and field positions. So that's a huge sector that our alumni get integrated to. Next, we have the private sector. Within the private sector, I must say that many companies and organizations now understand that they need someone who can do business continuity planning, who can do preparedness, emergency preparedness planning. COVID-19 was a prime example of what happens to businesses that don't plan, don't envision ahead of time the things that can break down as a result of a major crisis or a disaster. So many companies now understand that they need to employ someone whose sole purpose is to do some business continuity planning and ensuring the business plan of the private sectors and the industries. And lastly, the last sector, which I proudly represent because I am an alumnus of the program myself, is the research and academia sector. Those students who opt for that continue on with their studies for a PhD or stay in the academia and contribute to the promotion of preparedness and emergency management by doing research and contributing in that regard. How can you apply and what are the admission requirements? So those are listed here. We accept graduates of bachelor degrees from various backgrounds. As I said, we are actually looking for creating a diverse cohort of students in our classes. But there is a criterion, and the criterion is that the average grade of that bachelor degree is at least 80, which is the Israeli system of grading, at least 80 from 100. It could be from the medical professions, from the management, engineering, social work, sciences, education, what have you. We are building a cohort of students that is very diverse in backgrounds. And eligible candidates that will submit their candidacy will be invited for an interview where we would like to actually see what is your inclination, what is your aptitude toward disaster management, what drives you, what is your motivation, so that we know that we are actually integrating into the classroom students that are very much interested in the disaster management world. With that, I conclude. As I said, you are more than welcome to type in your questions in the chat and we'll answer them, as well as the Q&A session we'll have during this session after Clara's talk. With that, I would like to turn the camera. If I could only just stop the share, great. I'd like to turn the camera and the microphone to Clara Del Prete, which is our graduate from the international cohort of last year's and is now integrated as a PhD student in Italy. So Clara, the floor is yours.
Okay, so thank you, Moran and Bruria, for this very thorough explanation, which reminded me, I was smiling all the time when you were talking because it was like going back in time to last year. So I actually didn't plan any speech, so I would just say what comes to my mind. So basically, I believe something that I would have wanted to know when I was like you attending this introduction meeting or orientation meeting was like, why should I go? First of all, why should I do a master in disaster management? And second, why going to Tel Aviv and why specifically TAU? Well, I didn't expect to study disaster management. I'm 25, as Moran said, I'm now doing a PhD, but I started doing economics and management as my first degree. So I was very far away from where I am today and where I was a year ago when I started the program. So first of all, I would say that if you're here, there is a reason. If you're in this meeting or you're thinking about what if, even the doubt itself is like a very good sign. And I think you should hold on to that doubt you have right now and the questions you have in your mind. Because I believe, as Moran said, this is a field that is growing exponentially, has been growing exponentially since like the 90s. And first of all, unfortunately, we are not happy about it, but there's going to be a lot of work for people who are in this field. And I truly believe that we really do need, like we, the people who are working in this field, really do need people who are passionate, and like maybe you just out of curiosity, they had this idea popping in their heads, like, let's see what disaster management is like. So that's the first thing. So really follow your instincts. And if you feel like you really need meaning or some kind of meaning in the things you do, trust me, whatever you end up doing after a master in disaster management is gonna be meaningful, definitely, because you are, if you have that glimpse of passion in you, then whatever you do, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna be passionate and therefore happy about whatever you do in your life. Second, so why TAU and why Moran, Bruri, Aguili, and Gabi, and all the professors that are in the master? Why? Because it's just, let's say that I didn't have any connection to Israel remotely. I didn't know anyone, okay? So I was like, okay, why not let's take this huge leap and go live abroad where I don't know anyone. And to me, not only like this master has been as perfect as I could have imagined it, seriously, because I also did a first master program, but like this was like the thing that can be, one could say, okay, pulling theory into practice. No, it's not a joke, like it's for real. And I believe, even though I have another master that was like 2 years long and I did study a lot, I don't want to say that I didn't learn as many things as I did in the disaster management master, but I do now believe that it's not useful for you to just study. And the way TAU and the Master in Disaster Management teach you these things is very, very effective. And also you get the chance to actually be connected, and also depends on you. I also want to say that like it's really up to your instinct and to your willingness to actually do connect with people and professionals that you meet. But really it's like jumping into a new world where everyone is super available and really ready to share their knowledge or experience with you. And another thing that I believe it's important just for you to listen to is that I also did the internship program. So I did the regular track because I said already I had another master with a thesis. And the internship program was like the cherry on top of everything, because it really was, first of all, another chance to actually meet people and getting my own balance in Tel Aviv, this new beautiful city. So I was an intern at Israel, which is an NGO, and I've been working there for like basically almost the whole year that I was there. And not only I was working with amazing people in the team of the Latin American and Caribbean region doing research / strategic priority searching for the emergency response / resilience building. But I also got the chance to go to the emergency response in this March 2023 for the earthquakes in Turkey. So even there, it was like really pulling theory into practice. So for me, and lastly, one of the best things about TAU in general and the master is the level of international people you actually meet. My program, I believe like there were one nation every 1.5 person in the classroom. It's crazy. We were from everywhere in the world, and it's a very good experience that I would advise to anyone. So that's my maybe I did already talk too much, but if you have any questions, I'm of course available to answer.
Thank you very, very much, Clara. I think it was, even for us that know you, it was nice to hear of your views, of your insights of what it did in the continuations. And we are, of course, very, very proud that you're continuing towards academic studies, towards your PhD. So I think we're in time for any questions that you may have. Unless Gili or Gabi, are there things that you want to raise before that? Gabi said no. Gili? Okay, then any questions?
Don't be shy, we don't bite. I see a question in the chat. I hold a bachelor degree in political science. Would I be considered eligible? As I said, yes, we are, as long as the average grade is 80 or above, of course. And as I said, we are very much interested in creating a diverse cohort of students coming from diverse backgrounds. So definitely, definitely relevant political science. Can you speak about some of the electives that are available? Yeah, so the different electives that are available in our program are really diverse in their in the topics that we cover. So we have disaster economics, and we have disaster psychology, and we have classes that are dealing with project management and medical management in mass casualties incidents. And we teach mental health aspects, and we teach psychological first aid, crisis management, risk and crisis communication, legal and ethical aspects, cybersecurity, public policy, business continuity management, debriefing and organizational learning, public health consequences, and more. So there's a wide range of different electives to choose from. And again, all of the information is included on our website, which I think Gabi put a link in chat before. Next, is previous job experience in other fields taken into consideration during admission, or is more about academic achievements? That's a very good question, Victor. We definitely look into previous experience in job, meaning job experience, as well as academic achievements. Coming from a background where you have experience in the field, meaning that you can actually provide meaningful insights to the classroom discourse, is actually very meaningful to us. We are very much interested in having students in the classroom that other students can learn from. We strongly believe that students learn the best when they are peer taught, not necessarily when they listen to a lecturer who stands in the front of the classroom. You only retain about 5% of what that person is saying. But when you teach each other, when you learn from your peer experience, you actually retain that information for much longer periods of time. So definitely field experience is taken into consideration. Then we have, hi everyone, Chris Obi from someplace. Please, do you offer online courses? Many thanks. Okay. The program is in person on campus. Some of the classes are indeed taught online, but the majority of the program is in person on campus. This is very important also in our view. Disaster management is not something you can be taught afar and by just joining online sessions or learning by yourself. We are very much valuing the discourse that is taking place in the classroom. And for that, you need to be physically present, listen to your peers and colleagues, and learn from your professors. And because of that reason, online teaching of the program is not something that we offer. Having said that, as I said, some of the courses are provided online, but it's a small portion of those. What is the cost implications of the studying in person? Gabi just put a link for the fees, so you can take a look there. Then we have, I am 45 years old already. Good. So what's the problem? Any age limitation of this master's program? Absolutely not. So just for the sake of you, maybe for your own curiosity, there is a parallel program, Israeli track, where the students are Israelis and the program is taught in Hebrew. The average age there, correct me if I'm wrong, Buria, is around 40, 45. So those are mid-career people who are coming to our classes, to our courses, in order to maybe make a shift in their career or to promote and advance in their existing career. So that's definitely something offered. Having said that, the international cohort is usually younger. The average age there is around 25, something like that. So I think that's something to take into consideration. If you feel comfortable, we definitely feel comfortable with students of various ages.
And just to
Then,
pitch in, on that regard, we've had throughout the different cohorts, we've had many of diverse ages. We've had people with different types of experiences, including people, I think the oldest was 60, and they actually proved to be great leaders inside the cohort. So I think that the atmosphere is very, very conducive and very receptive for different types of ages.
right. Next, we have a question about, can you give an example of what the week of the program looks like? How does it shift depending on the semesters? So let me quickly share the screen again, and you can see the current year breakdown of the different courses. It doesn't necessarily mean the same will apply for next year, but you can see that we are teaching 3 days per week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Most likely the same days will apply for next year, but I cannot commit to that. So you see there are different courses. Some of them are mandatory, others are elective. This is the first semester, the second semester. And very interesting to note is that the summer semester is comprised of crash courses or accelerated courses, where each course takes place over a single week. So within a week, you are taking only that course and you are speed running the course and finishing it within a single week. And we try to place the different courses in a way that allows students who would like to leave early and go back to their countries to have to take online courses from the summer semester at the end of the summer semester. This is where we try to place those.
And just to pitch in again, Moran, with your permission, those of you that will want to take the internship program is an additional day throughout the first and the second semester. So it's one more day beyond the 3 days per week. And this is something that proved to be very attractive to many of our students because it gives not only the theoretical experience, but also the hands-on experience.
Yeah. Any more questions? Okay.
So if there are no more questions, thank you, all of you that join us. Thank you, Moran, Gabi, Gilly, Clara, for being with us. And let's hope for a safe world, the resilience of all of us, and a very productive academic year and journey for us all. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.